Cabrera. Today we will be discussing the study that we did in regard to the prediction and analysis of epitopes from the human Marburg virus, an immunoinformatics approach. To express our views in clearer manner, we created this visual presentation that will help you understand what our study is all about. So the envelope of Marburg virus particles are composed of 7 structural proteins and a negative stranded linear RNA genome. In the center of genomic RNA that is wrapped around a polymer of nucleoprotein, major and minor matrix protein can be found between the envelope and the nucleocapsid. The envelope of the virus is made of surface protein called glycoprotein. The protein targets are the glycoprotein first, so it is the only membrane protein present. It is assumed that that in the surface of the virus have receptors for fusion and virus entry into the host cell. And it also to be said the major target for immune response. While the nucleoprotein is the antigenic causing viral replication and pathogenicity. And lastly, the BP40's role is needed for assembling of new virus particles since this is the major matrix protein. Thus, these 3 proteins are crucial in controlling the viral genome activities and its total function. So the objective of the study is to predict an epitope-based peptide vaccine against Marburg virus by adopting immunoinformatic approach. Second is to determine which of these 3 viral proteins are the most possible to be used in vaccine development computationally. So this is the overview of selection of CTL, HTL, and LBL epitopes and other assessment. A total of 160 CTL epitopes for glycoprotein, 185 for nucleoprotein, and 107 for BP40 for the 12 MHC class 1 for 12 supertypes were predicted using NetCTL. The IEDB class immunogenicity tool predicted 82 for glycoprotein, then 92 for nucleoprotein, and 55 for BP40, which they are positive in terms of immunogenicity, and all the epitopes were found to be non-toxic. However, after assessing the allergenicity by AllerTop server, it was revealed that 51 under glycoprotein and 38 for nucleoprotein and 31 for BP40 epitopes were remained. After antigenicity checking by Oxygen server, only 31 for glycoprotein, 20 nucleoprotein, and 11 BP40 epitopes were successful on all assessment given. So 2 epitopes on each type of protein, total of 6 CTLs with high antigenicity had been selected and used for vaccine construction. Within the 0.7 percentile rank, the IEDB MHC2 allele binding prediction tool identified 13 HTL epitopes under glycoprotein, 34 for nucleoprotein, and 23 for BP40 epitopes. Among them, 5 epitopes under glycoprotein, 4 epitopes under nucleoprotein, and 6 epitopes under BP40 met the oxygen threshold, which is 0.5. All the resulted epitopes had been predicted to be non-toxic. Then 8 epitopes under HTL epitopes under glycoprotein, 23 for nucleoprotein, and 13 for under BP40 had been resulted as non-allergenic. After the assessment of IF and gamma, IL4 and IL10 inducibility using the 3 servers indicated there, 5 HTL epitope under glycoprotein, 1 for nucleoprotein, and 3 for BP40 remained. So 2 epitopes under glycoprotein, then 1 epitope under nucleoprotein, and 3 epitopes under BP40 protein was used for vaccine construction, considering their antigenicity value. IBCL database predicted 37 LBL epitopes for glycoprotein, the 67 for nucleoprotein, and 16 for BP40 is for our potential LBL epitopes. Then 17 under glycoprotein, 13 for nucleoprotein, and 6 for BP40 met the oxygen criteria. Then ToxinPred and AllerTop server predicted that all 17 glycoprotein, 13 nucleoprotein, and 6 B40 of these epitopes were not toxic and non-allergenic. So the 3 epitopes on each type of protein, total of 9 LBLs with high antigenicity had been selected and used for vaccine construction. After the prediction and assessment, 108 random sequence entries of glycoprotein and both 61 random sequence entries of nucleoprotein and BP40 was checked for mutation through multiple sequence alignment using Cluster Omega server, and then the relationship of the sequence was examined using the MView viewer. The population coverage is needed for effective epitope vaccine design. So IEDB tool was used to calculate the HLA distribution throughout the world population. MHC1 and 2 class epitopes was used to analyze the population coverage. The final vaccine proteins were constructed using selected epitopes and adjuvants. Each of the construct vaccine consisted of an individual adjuvant followed by T cell, then B cell epitopes and their linkers. All two vaccines have 6 CTL, 6 HTL, and 9 LBLs epitopes integrate in a serial manner, a total of 2 vaccines constructed. Assessment of the vaccine construct was done for both vaccines such as the antigenicity, allergenicity, toxicity, and physicochemical properties were analyzed. The vaccine with high antigenicity score shall be chosen since the presence of antigen particles are the signal for immune response and memory cell formation. The vaccine should be non-allergenic and non-toxic, and various physicochemical will also be assessed. Finally, the immunogenic profile of the vaccine is to be estimated. C-INSIM server was used for in silico immune simulation. The parameters for the simulation are proposed to be a 3 injection, each administered 4 weeks apart. Time step points for each injection are established to be at 184 and 168. Then the rest of the parameters were set at default. So shown in the table is the total number of epitopes derived and average score of antigenicity of the 3 selected proteins. The proteins that is most possible to be used was glycoprotein, as shown in the table. The glycoprotein has the most capability to produce more antigenic epitopes. And then shown in this table is the top 2 most antigenic for each protein using Vaxgen for major histocompatibility complex class 1 epitopes of the Marburg virus. So to develop active immunity, prediction of epitopes of that the CTL can distinguish and survey their ability to bind with the MHC class 1 complex. Shown in the table is the top 2 most antigenic MHC class 2 epitopes from each protein using Vaxgen. Also, the percentile score of the selected epitopes was less than or equal to 0.7. A lower percentile rank value indicates a higher affinity. IBCL server was used to predict the LBL. So the top 3 of each of the protein with high antigenicity had been selected and used for vaccine construction. So this is the M view of multiple alignment for B and T cell epitopes. For glycoprotein, out of the 7 epitopes, only 4 were found to be present in 108 randomly selected glycoprotein sequences. There are relatively low found in glycoprotein table, specifically the 2 HTL and 1 LBL epitopes. The LBL epitope that is highlighted in red color was shown to have a mutation as shown in the right figure. It had a change of sequence, meaning it does not conserve, and that indicates the potential loss or gain of residue. For all selected epitopes for nucleoprotein, all were relatively high. In that case, it is safe to say nucleotide substitution does not often occur. On the right figure, there is a little bit of mutation. So for BB40 protein, there's only 1 epitope that is absent due to its high rate of substitution, meaning there is mutation. That nevertheless, the results that shown here are not viable since they all pass the initial screening. Overall, the epitopes that are unlikely to mutate are considerably high than the epitopes that are likely to undergo mutation. So same as before, the right had a little bit of mutation occur. So results showed that glycoprotein covers around 50.05% and 18.23% of the world's population coverage for both MHC respectively. Whereas for nucleoprotein, 70.75% and 0%. And lastly, where the percentage was 52.9% and 20.95% for VP40 protein. In letter B showed 0% coverage for MHC2, which can be attributed to either a lack of data or the nucleoprotein is not ideal to use. So the 6 CTL, 6 HTL, and 9 LBL epitopes were from the 3 proteins combined used for the vaccine construction. The adjuvant that was able to use was L7-alpha ribosomal protein and HABA adjuvant. So interaction of adjuvant with toll-like receptors polarize the CTL response and induce immunoreaction. Both these 2 adjuvant protein are agonists to TLR4 only. So the HAB can modulate the CTL activity via TLR4 dependent pathway. So it showed that the HABA directly binds to TLR4, leading to expression of surface molecules and inflammatory cytokines production by the dendritic cells because of its ability to stimulate dendritic cells, which then further to activate T cells. And the antigenicity for HABA adjuvant is 0.6659. Whereas for L7, L12 adjuvant, its antigenicity is 0.3904. So this mixture components is heat stable purified protein derivative proteins, which are trigger a strong delayed type hypersensitivity reaction. The EEK linkers were used to join the adjuvant and CTL epitopes. Similarly with GGS, GPGPG, and KK linkers were used to conjugate CTL, HTL, and LBL epitopes, and to end the sequence, 6H. Two vaccine sequences were constructed, namely V1 and V2, each associated with different adjuvants. The vaccine's results were antigenic, and the toxicity and allergenicity displayed non-toxic and non-allergen. However, V2 has a higher antigenicity compared to V1. So different adjuvants were chosen in the vaccine construct to analyze the effects of the adjuvants or on antigenicity and on the immune response. The results of the physicochemical properties analysis are listed here for both two vaccine. All the two vaccine constructs were found to be potential antigenic and non-allergenic. The difference between the two vaccines is V2 has the highest predicted extinction coefficient, and it also had the lowest gravy value, meaning it is more hydrophilic, and that the protein can interact with aqueous environment. So extinction coefficient is the measure how strongly a substance absorbs light, which it will determine the protein concentration. The protein concentration is an important parameter to affecting the efficacy of pharmaceutical. So it is essential and necessary to determine the concentration of a protein solution during drug development. The more the hydrophobic the protein is, the less likely to be resolved on a 2D gel. So hydrophobic protein is likely to be membrane bound and therefore difficult to solubilize. So this is an important note when making an actual vaccine. Furthermore, all the two vaccines construct was found to be stable, which is important. So to investigate the immune response, the CM-SIM server arc can be used. Shown in the figure is the antigen and immunoglobulins. Naturally, an overall increase in immune response should be evident after repeated exposure to the antigen. V2 has more decent response when it comes to antibody production as compared to V1 at the y-axis of the antibody titer. In both secondary and tertiary response, high levels of immunoglobulin activities can be seen here, as seen in the both figure. Here in figure B, for both V1 and V2 is the B cell population. At day 50 in V1, the memory cell is at 500, whereas for V2, at day 50, it is evident that it is a little bit higher than V1. Same for the succeeding days. The V2 has a higher concentration of memory cells. It indicates the development of immunological memory, and because of that, active immunity upon exposure of antigen. For B cell population, the V2 has a higher concentration of B cell compared to V1. In the figure C, for both vaccines, there is a consistent of TH cell rise. This show when presented to an antigen, rise of immunological memory occurred. What can I conclude here is that V2, here in V2, the second and third peak are almost the same here, which indicates that the time of third injection, the body generate memory cells by the time of the second injection. So that's why helper T cell become active, and that's the advantage of V2 over V1. So humoral immunity is evident here as the higher activity of both B and T cell and lasting of B cell memory for succeeding days, which is needed to enhance the immune response. The selected HTL epitopes incorporated into the vaccine are positive with IL-10 and IL-4. That is why the IL-10 and IL-4 activity here in the graph can be observed. However, V2 has a reliable results as seen here than V1, since there is a high inflammatory response of IF and G on the third peak, on the third injection, compared to V1. The main difference really is the identity of the adjuvant. So it is possible that the adjuvant has lost its boosting capability as seen in V1. These results of the vaccine suggest that immune memory development and natural immune protection against Marburg virus. So in conclusion, the V2 was preeminent and revealed to be computationally superior as potential vaccine because it has a higher antigenicity and it has a potential of producing a decent immune response. The protein that is most possible to be used was glycoprotein. The glycoprotein has the most capability to produce more antigenic epitopes. Possible recommendation is that the predicted extinction coefficient and the lowest gravy value can be a guide in vaccine development and in peptide-based therapeutics, and widen the range for MHC2, for example, the percentile score. That's all. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.